It floated at the edge of known space, far from safe trade routes. Most lights were dead. Metal walls showed long scars from past battles. No one important came here anymore. Everyone had already run. Escape ships were gone. Cargo bays were empty. The station computer repeated the same warning in a calm voice, saying evacuation was complete. No life signs detected. That was not true. One human was still there. He stood near a wide viewing window, looking into space. His clothes were simple. His hands were empty. His face showed tiredness, but not fear. Outside, space bent and darkened. Something large was arriving. A shadow slid into view, blocking the stars. It was not a single ship, but many ships moving together like a hunting pack. Their surface was smooth and dark, shaped like blades and bones. No lights, no symbols, just power. Every species in the galaxy knew these ships. They meant one thing. She had come. Inside the largest ship, the alien woman stood in silence. She was tall, with skin like pale stone and eyes that glowed faintly silver. Her presence alone caused fear. Her species was built for war. Her mind was trained for command. Her body was designed to survive almost anything. Worlds surrendered when she arrived. Fleets turned back. Soldiers dropped weapons. Leaders begged for mercy they would never receive. Fear followed her like a shadow. She looked at the damaged station on the screen before her. Sensors showed no defenses, no weapons, no shields. Just one weak life signal. A human, one of her officers said carefully. Only one remains. She narrowed her eyes. Humans were strange. Weak bodies. Short lives. Loud voices. But they had spread far, faster than expected. They always run, the officer added. This one did not. Prepare a landing, she said. The ship moved closer. A section of the station opened by force, metal tearing apart like paper. Air escaped into space, then stopped as emergency fields activated. She walked through the opening alone. Her boots struck the floor with slow, heavy steps. Each step echoed. The station felt small around her, fragile. She expected the human to be hiding, crying, praying, or frozen in terror. Instead, he was standing in the open. He turned when he heard her. Their eyes met. The human did not scream. He did not kneel. He did not run. He simply looked at her. She stopped walking. That had never happened before. "You are alone," she said. Her voice was deep, calm, and strong. It carried authority without effort. "Yes," the human replied. His voice shook slightly, but he did not look away. "Everyone else fled," she said. "You chose to stay." "There was no space left," he said. "And someone had to shut down the station core. It was overheating." She stared at him, trying to fix a machine, while she was coming. "You know who I am," she said. "Yes," he said. "You know what happens to places I visit?" "Yes." "Then why are you still standing?" The human thought for a moment. He rubbed his hands together slowly, more from habit than fear. "I guess," he said, "I was tired of running." Her eyes narrowed again. Fear should have filled the room. Her body released signals that made other species shake and panic. Even trained soldiers lost control around her. The human did not. His heart rate was fast but steady. His breathing was slow. Interesting. She stepped closer. "You should be afraid," she said. "Maybe," he answered. "Maybe," she repeated. "Yeah," he said. "I mean, I am scared. But not of you. Not exactly." Silence filled the station. No one had ever spoken to her like this. "What are you afraid of, then?" she asked. The human looked away, toward the stars behind the broken window. "Dying alone," he said. "Without meaning. Without helping anyone." She did not understand. Fear was simple. Fear was pain. Fear was death. Fear was survival. This was different. She circled him slowly, studying his weak body. His skin could tear easily. His bones would break with little force. She could kill him without effort. "You know I can end your life in 1 second, she said. "I know," he replied. "Then why aren't you begging?" He gave a small smile. Not a happy one. A tired one. "Begging never helped us much," he said. She stopped in front of him. "Everyone is afraid of me," she said. "Generals, kings, machines, even my own kind. But you are not." She leaned closer, her glowing eyes locked onto his. "Why aren't you afraid of me, human?" The question surprised even her. She had never cared about the answer before. The human took a slow breath. "Because," he said, You're just another disaster. She pulled back slightly. Explain. He leaned against a damaged wall, careful not to appear weak, but no longer trying to appear strong either. We grew up with disasters, he said. Plagues, wars, hunger, storms, fire from the sky. We lost cities. We lost planets. We lost people we loved. She listened without interrupting. When something terrible comes, he continued, we don't ask why anymore. We just ask what needs to be done. She searched his mind for lies. There were none. You speak as if fear has no power over you, she said. Oh, it does, he replied quickly. Fear controls a lot of what we do, but it doesn't stop us. It never really did. She straightened. You are weak, she said. Your species should not have survived. He nodded. We know. That answer unsettled her more than anger or defiance ever could. An alert sounded in her mind. Her officers were uneasy. They were watching the feed. They did not like how long this was taking. Shall we destroy the station? One asked. She did not answer right away. She looked at the human again. What is your name? She asked. Liam, he said. Simple. Short. Unimportant. Yet she remembered it. My people will erase this place, she said. You will die. Probably, he said, no anger. No tears. Just acceptance. She had seen warriors face death with pride. She had seen cowards face it with terror. This was neither. She turned away and walked toward the breach. Wait, the human said. She stopped but did not turn. If you're going to destroy it, he said, let me finish shutting down the core first. If it blows, the debris could damage your ships. Concern for her fleet. Even now. She turned slowly and studied him again. Why help me? She asked. Because, he said, someone always has to clean up after disasters. For the first time in many years, the alien woman felt something unfamiliar. Not fear. Not anger. Curiosity. Do it, she said. He nodded and walked past her toward the core chamber. His steps were steady, not brave, just resolved. She watched him go. Around them, her fleet waited, ready to burn the station to dust. Yet she did not give the order. Instead, she stood alone in the broken hall, replaying his words. Everyone was afraid of her. But one human had looked at her and seen something else. And for the first time, she wondered what that meant. Liam worked quickly at the core, moving with careful hands. Sparks flew as he sealed circuits, rerouted energy, and vented gases into space. He worked as if he had done this 100 times, though every station he repaired had been different. She observed him quietly. He made no effort to hide, no attempt to scare her away. His focus was simple: survive and finish the task. She had expected humans to beg, scream, or run. He had done none of these. You repair quickly, she said, her voice echoing in the wide, hollow chamber. I learned the hard way, Liam replied. He did not look at her. Hands moved fast. If you wait too long in a disaster, you die. Your species is weak, she said. You should not survive disasters. You should crumble under fear. He paused and looked at her finally. His eyes were steady. We survive because we have to, not because we are strong. Strength is a tool, fear is useless if it stops you from doing what must be done. She tilted her head. This answer made no sense to her. She was used to fear controlling entire fleets, entire populations. They would do anything to avoid death or pain. Humans did not. Liam went back to work. Sparks jumped from a broken panel and he flinched slightly but did not stop. You could kill me, he said. You could erase this station in seconds. She stepped closer, her body radiating heat and authority. And yet I wait. He smiled faintly, almost sadly. Because you are curious. You always want to understand something new. Even monsters are curious sometimes. Her eyes narrowed. She had never considered herself a monster. She had been called a weapon, a conqueror, a nightmare. But a monster? That was the first time. I am not here to understand you, she said. I am here to see if you are afraid. I am, he said, but not of you. She studied him carefully. The human admitted fear, yet it did not control him. That was impossible to most beings she knew. Explain, she said, more sharply. He wiped sweat from his forehead. Fear is useless if you know it cannot change what is coming. I do what must be done. That is all. I fear dying alone, failing people I care about, leaving things broken. But fear does not stop me. It never did. Her officers watching from the fleet whispered among themselves. Many did not understand why she was not attacking immediately. She had never hesitated before. "You survive," she said slowly. "Not because you are strong, but because you endure." "Yes," he said. "Endurance is our power. We are not strong, fast, or clever compared to others, but we endure when all else fails." She frowned. She could see the truth in his words. Humans had survived wars, plagues, disasters, hunger, death. She had studied them before, from a distance. Always weak, always breaking, yet somehow they continued. "You are not the first human I have seen," she said, "but you are the first to speak like this." "Most run," Liam said. "Some hide. A few die. But endurance is rare. You cannot conquer it easily. You cannot destroy it in fear." The core began to hum steadily as Liam finished his work. Lights flickered back to life. The station was stable for now. "You have repaired the station," she said. "Why bother? It will be gone soon." "Someone has to try. Someone has to leave something standing, even if it is small. Even if it does not matter to the galaxy. Even if it dies tomorrow." She felt something unfamiliar. Respect? Curiosity? Perhaps even a kind of admiration. Outside, her fleet shifted. Signals from distant worlds reached them. Some sent reports. Some begged for mercy. The galaxy expected her to destroy everything. She had expected obedience from the weak. "Not defiance like this. You will die anyway," she said, trying to regain control. "Maybe," he said, "but I die with purpose, not with fear." The statement was simple, but it echoed in her mind. She had never heard such words. Even her strongest warriors, her fiercest generals, had never faced death so calmly. "Humans survive," she muttered to herself. "Why?" she asked aloud, more to herself than to him. He looked at her. "We are not meant to survive. But we do. That is what makes us dangerous. Not weapons, not ships, not speed or power. We survive when nothing else can. And we never stop trying." The statement was both a warning and a mystery. She had conquered countless species. None had resisted fear like this. None had endured like this. Liam finished his work. He stood straight, wiped his hands, and faced her fully. "Done," he said simply. She nodded slowly. Her mind raced. She did not understand humans. They were fragile. They were weak. Yet they carried something inside that even she could not touch. Her officers asked for orders again. Should they destroy the station now? Should they remove the human? She shook her head. She wanted to see more. She wanted to watch the human endure. The human noticed her hesitation. He smiled faintly. "Curious, aren't you?" She did not answer. A long moment passed in silence. Then a signal reached the station. Enemy ships, fast and aggressive, were moving toward them. "Attack fleet incoming," her officer reported. She stepped back, her focus returning to duty. She was the hunter, the destroyer, the feared. The human noticed her change. "They are coming for you?" he asked. "They track me," she said. "They fear me. They do not fear humans." He nodded. "Then they underestimate the wrong one." The first sounds of battle echoed in space. Enemy weapons flared, hitting shields and scattering debris. The station shook. Sparks flew from damaged panels. The human did not panic. He moved calmly, preparing to defend the station in the only way he could. The alien woman watched him and realized something critical. She had faced empires, machines, monsters, and gods, and yet none had behaved like this human. Not fear, not obedience, not rebellion, just endurance. She wondered if this was what had allowed humans to survive all the disasters of their past. Outside, enemy ships closed in, their weapons charging. Inside, the human prepared, quietly, with calm determination, and she realized, finally, that fear might not control him, but it could control her. For the first time, the alien woman felt something she could not name. She was curious. She was cautious. And perhaps for the first time in her life, she was afraid. Not of him. Not yet. But of what humans could teach her. The battle was about to begin, and the galaxy had not seen anything like it. Liam tightened his gloves, his eyes scanning the incoming ships, calm as ever. The alien woman stayed behind him, watching, silent. She could destroy everything in seconds, yet she did nothing. Because for the first time, she wanted to learn how something so weak could endure so much. And that was the danger. The warning lights flashed red across the station as Liam moved quickly through the corridors. The floor shook under the impact of enemy fire. Metal groaned as the station's outer hull took the first hits. Outside, the alien woman watched from the viewing deck. Her fleet hovered near the station, massive and silent. Her ships had been designed to crush worlds, yet she did not attack the intruding enemy. She studied Liam instead. He did not panic. He ran down the corridors, checking each hatch, shutting systems, sealing areas. The station was old, damaged, and unstable. One wrong move could destroy it, yet he worked as if it were routine. "Why does he not fear death?" she asked quietly. "He has to endure," one of her officers said. "All humans do. They cannot survive otherwise." "Endure? They are fragile," she said. "Every other species would scream or die by now." Her fleet weapons glowed, ready to fire, but she hesitated. The human moved calmly as explosions shook the walls. Sparks flew, fires started, and alarms screamed. Still, he did not falter. He reached a damaged corridor and saw that the hull was cracked. Air hissed out into space. He stopped, checked a panel, and sealed it with makeshift patches. His hands moved fast, precise. An enemy ship fired, tearing a hole in the outer hull nearby. Debris flew through the corridors. Liam ducked under a falling metal beam, rolled, and continued toward the next section. The alien woman followed him from the deck, her eyes glowing. Her body radiated authority, power, and fear. But for the first time, the fear was not in her enemies. It was in herself. "Why do they fight like this?" she asked. "They do not fight to win," her officer answered. "They fight to survive. And they do not give up, even when all seems lost." The enemy ship circled, firing again and again. Most strikes hit empty corridors or were absorbed by damaged shields. The station shook violently, warning lights flashing red. Yet Liam moved on, calm as if he had done this every day. He reached the command center. The doors were mangled, twisted from an earlier blast. He forced them open and entered. Inside, he saw the main systems damaged and several circuits burning. He moved to the control panel, patched circuits, and rerouted power. Sparks flew. The lights flickered. He kept working. "Do you see this?" the alien woman asked her officer. "He repairs the station while it is being destroyed." "Yes," the officer said. "And he is not afraid." "Impossible," she whispered. "All species fear death. All species break under pressure, but not him." Outside, the enemy fleet prepared for a final strike. Energy weapons charged, lasers glowed, and missiles hummed. They expected the station to fall and the human to die screaming. Inside, Liam finished rerouting the power. The main lights stabilized. He moved to the communications console and sent signals to nearby human ships. They were scattered, weak, under-equipped, but alive. The alien woman felt tension rise in her chest. She had prepared to destroy everything in seconds. Her fleet was ready, precise, and unstoppable. Yet she did nothing. The first human ships arrived. They were small, old, slow, poorly armed. Most should have been destroyed instantly. Yet they fought with purpose. They shielded each other, took risks, and moved as if losing did not matter. She watched as humans boarded enemy ships willingly, jumping into dangerous positions without hesitation. Explosions rocked the enemy fleet as humans sabotaged engines, jammed weapons, and created chaos. "They are fearless," one of her officers said, "and they die in the process." "Yes," she said softly, "but they never stop." The enemy fleet tried to retreat, but the humans continued their attack. Their numbers were small. Their ships were weak. Yet they forced the invaders to retreat, panicked and confused. Liam moved through the corridors again, helping injured humans and clearing debris. He worked fast, calm, focused. The alien woman stepped down from the viewing deck and entered the corridors. She had never done this before. She had never walked among a species she did not intend to destroy. Yet she was drawn to him to see how he endured. "Do you understand why they fight like this?" she asked him. "They fight because they must," he said. "Fear cannot stop them. Death cannot stop them. They continue because someone has to, because no one else will. That is all humans know." She studied him. His hands were scratched, his clothes torn, yet he smiled faintly, almost sadly. "They are fragile," she said, "and yet they survive where others fail." "Yes," he said, "fragile but stubborn, weak but relentless, small but dangerous. We endure because nothing else is left to us." A section of the station shook violently. Fire flared. Alarms screamed. She expected him to fall, scream, or beg. Instead, he moved calmly, helping injured crew, sealing doors, and directing people to safe zones. She felt something stirring inside her. Respect, curiosity, perhaps even fear. The enemy fleet retreated finally, leaving the station damaged but standing. The humans had survived. They had bought time, saved lives, and survived where no one expected. The alien woman turned to Liam. His hands were dirty, his body tired, but his eyes were steady. "Why do you not fear me?" she asked again. "Because," he said simply. "Fear does not help. Doing what must be done helps. That is all." She had faced countless species who trembled, begged, and died. None had faced her like this. She realized something important. Strength, power, speed, and weapons were not always the key to survival. Endurance, stubbornness, and courage could be far more dangerous. Liam looked at her calmly. "You can destroy me," he said, "but I will still do what I must. You cannot stop that." She stepped back, silent. Her mind raced. Her fleet had waited for her command. The humans had survived. She had seen it with her own eyes, and she understood something new. Humans were not strong. Humans were not fast. Humans were not clever. Humans endured. And that endurance made them more dangerous than any weapon she had ever faced. For the first time, the alien woman realized that a species weaker than hers could outlast her, could outfight her, could outsmart fear itself. She watched the humans clean, repair, and regroup. They moved quietly, helping the wounded, checking damage, and preparing for the next challenge. Liam stood among them, calm, steady, focused. The alien woman realized that she had underestimated them. Not because they were clever or strong, because they refused to stop, refused to fear, refused to break. She felt a strange tension in her chest. She was powerful, fast, and feared across galaxies. Yet she could not destroy this human's courage. She had never felt anything like it. For the first time, she wondered if endurance could be stronger than power, and she began to see that humans were dangerous, not because they struck with weapons, but because they refused to give up. She did not act. She only watched. The galaxy feared her. But humans feared nothing she had yet shown them, and that was the true danger. The alien woman walked slowly through the station corridors. She had never done this before. She had never moved among a species she could destroy in seconds and watch them survive. Her eyes glowed faintly as she observed the humans repairing the damage. Liam moved among the groups, checking systems and helping the injured. His hands were black with soot and his clothes were torn, yet his expression was calm. He did not rush. He did not panic. He simply acted. "You watch them closely?" one of her officers said, trying to understand. "Do you intend to attack now?" "No," she said quietly. "I want to see why they do not fear me." The officer frowned. "They are weak. They should tremble before your presence." "They do not," she said. "And that is troubling." She stepped closer to Liam. "Why do you not fear me?" she asked again. "Because fear does not help," he replied. "Fear only stops you from doing what must be done. We survive by acting, not by trembling. We endure because we have no choice." She studied him carefully. His answer was simple, yet it carried weight she could not measure. Humans were weak. They were small. They lacked speed and strength, yet they carried something she could not understand. "They endure," she whispered. "Even when death is near, they endure." He looked at her calmly. "You can destroy us," he said. "You can wipe us out in seconds. But we will still do what must be done. You cannot take that from us." Her officers murmured among themselves. Many had never heard such words. They had only seen fear, submission, and death in other species. She walked along the corridors, watching humans work together. They moved with coordination, helping each other without hesitation. Injured humans were carried to safety. Damaged systems were repaired. Broken corridors were patched as if survival depended on it. It did. The alien woman felt something stir in her. Respect? Curiosity? Perhaps even fear. Not of death, not of pain, but of a force she could not destroy. Endurance. Determination. Humanity. "Tell me," she said to Liam, "how have your people survived so long?" He paused and looked at her, eyes steady. "Because we endure," he said simply. "Because we do not give up, even when we are small, weak, or alone. We keep trying. We help each other. We survive disasters that should have ended us. That is how humans live." She did not understand fully. She had destroyed worlds, she had crushed armies. She had broken species that were stronger, faster, and smarter than humans. Yet they endured. They continued. They survived. A warning alarm sounded. Another fleet approached the station, faster and more aggressive than the last. Missiles streaked across space. Energy weapons glowed and charged. The humans did not run. They prepared. Weak ships were armed with whatever they could find. Humans trained in ships that should have been destroyed in seconds moved into position. Liam checked systems and led the preparations. He did not shout. He did not panic. He acted. The alien woman observed quietly. Her fleet could have destroyed the incoming enemy. She could have erased the station and all the humans in seconds. Yet she waited. She wanted to see how they endured. The first wave of enemy ships hit the station. Explosions rocked the corridors. Alarms screamed. Fire flared. Sparks flew from damaged systems. Humans moved calmly among the chaos. Injured were carried to safety. Critical systems were patched. Weapons were fired from improvised positions. She felt a tension in her chest. She had never experienced this before. A species so weak, so fragile, could move with such purpose under fire. They were dangerous not because of strength, but because they refused to stop. The alien woman approached Liam as he directed people. "Why do you not fear death?" she asked again. "Because," he said, "it is part of life. We face it every day. We lose people we love, worlds we care for, systems we depend on. Fear does not help. Doing what must be done does." She studied him silently. His words were simple, his tone calm, his actions steady, yet they carried power she could not measure. Outside, the enemy fleet faltered. They had expected fear, panic, and chaos. They had expected humans to flee or die. They had not expected resistance, not like this. Small ships moved in coordinated patterns, attacking weak points, sabotaging engines, and creating confusion. Humans boarded enemy ships willingly, taking great risks. Explosions rocked the fleet as humans caused damage far beyond their numbers. The alien woman's officers whispered in disbelief. "They should have been destroyed," one said. "They are too small, too weak. They endure," she said quietly. "That is their power. That is why humans are dangerous." She watched as the humans forced the enemy fleet to retreat. Weak ships had caused panic, confusion, and fear among those who believed themselves superior. Liam moved among the station, calm as ever. He helped the wounded, patched damaged systems, and ensured that survivors were safe. His hands were black with soot, his clothes torn, his body tired, yet his eyes were steady. The alien woman stood among the corridors silently. She could destroy everything in seconds, yet she did nothing. Because she had never seen endurance like this, because she had never faced a species that could survive weakness, fear, and disaster with calm purpose. Humans had survived a second attack not because of strength, speed, or weapons, but because they refused to stop. She understood now. She had faced countless species who broke under fear. She had destroyed worlds where fear ruled. She had crushed empires with speed and power. Humans were different. They did not break. They did not flee. They endured. And endurance was more dangerous than strength. Liam approached her finally. "Do you understand now?" he asked. "I am beginning to," she said quietly. He smiled faintly. "You will see. Humans do not fight for power. We do not fight for glory. We fight because we must. We endure because it is the only way to survive." She looked at him silently. His words were simple, his actions straightforward, yet they carried a force she could not destroy. The galaxy feared her. Humans did not fear her, and that was the true danger. She realized for the first time that she had underestimated them, not because they were strong or clever, because they refused to stop, because they endured, because they survived, because they were human. And for the first time, she felt a fear she did not understand, a fear not of death, not of pain, not of destruction, a fear of a species that refused to break. A fear of humanity itself. She had come to conquer. Instead, she had come to learn. And the lesson was only beginning. Leaders of powerful species gathered in secret, sending fleets, weapons, and warships toward the human worlds. They called it a warning. Some called it punishment. Most called it an end. Humanity had grown too bold, too reckless, and the council decided it could not be allowed to continue. The alien woman received the orders directly. Her fleet was the strongest, fastest, most feared in the sector. She could crush human worlds in hours. She could erase entire fleets without hesitation. But she did not attack immediately. She had seen humans endure. She had seen them fight when all odds were against them. She had seen them survive weakness, fear, and disasters that should have killed them. Her officers grew uneasy. "They will not survive this attack," one said. "Do you intend to delay?" "Yes," she said quietly. "I want to see what makes them dangerous." They departed quickly, leaving the alien woman to watch. Back on the human world, preparations were chaotic. Ships were being repaired, weapons mounted, and citizens moved into shelters. They did not have the firepower of the Council fleets. Their ships were slow, old, and vulnerable. Their weapons were small compared to what the galaxy possessed, but the humans did not panic. Liam moved among the crew, helping wherever he could. "Stay calm," he said. "Do what must be done, survive, and help each other." Children, engineers, and soldiers alike moved as one. Every human had a role. Every human knew that failure meant destruction. Yet they worked steadily, calmly, purposefully. Outside, the enemy fleets arrived, massive and precise. Their weapons glowed. Missiles streaked through space. Energy blasts hit human defenses. Explosions shook stations, ripped ships apart, and spread fire across the skies. Many humans died in the first moments. Ships were destroyed, outposts obliterated, cities burned, yet still, humanity endured. Liam led the survivors in boarding enemy vessels, risking everything to sabotage engines, jam weapons, and create chaos. Small numbers of humans forced enemy ships into confusion, disabling them without needing large weapons or superior technology. The alien woman watched from orbit. I'd never seen such audacity, such endurance. Even her officers whispered among themselves. "They are weak," one said, "and yet they do not break. How is this possible?" "They endure," she said softly. "They survive when all else fails. That is why they are dangerous." She observed humans fighting not for glory, not for conquest, but for survival and for each other. Soldiers shielded the weak. Engineers repaired ships under fire. Civilians carried the wounded. Each act of courage bought another chance, another moment, another life. The enemy fleets faltered. They expected humans to crumble. They expected screams, panic, and retreat. They had not expected humans to board their ships willingly. They had not expected humans to endure, adapt, and survive. One enemy commander shouted orders to retreat. "This is impossible," he cried. "They are weak." "We should have won." But the humans continued. Liam coordinated defenses, directed sabotage, and moved through chaos with calm precision. Every human risked their life to protect others, and every human endured. The alien woman finally spoke aloud. "This is not strength. This is not speed. This is endurance. They do not break. They do not run. They survive when nothing else can." Her officers exchanged uneasy glances. They had never faced a species like this. Every attack, every threat, every tactic they had used on other species had failed here. Weakness, fear, and destruction did not stop humans. Ships collided. Explosions rocked the sector. Humans boarded enemy vessels, forcing pilots to surrender sabotage systems and retreat. Enemy morale fell. Confusion spread among the fleets. Liam moved steadily among his people, never rushing, never panicking. He repaired ships, guided civilians, and inspired courage. Even when surrounded by chaos, his calm focus gave humans strength. The alien woman landed on a damaged outpost to observe closely. She had never been among humans like this. She had never studied a species survive disasters she caused. She moved silently, watching their actions, their endurance, their determination. "They will survive this," she said quietly, "and that is why the galaxy underestimates them at its own risk." The human resistance did not end with one fleet. They adapted to every attack, improvised new weapons, repaired ships, and regrouped after every strike. Even when their losses were heavy, they continued. They endured. Liam looked at the devastation around him. Ships destroyed, buildings crumbling, systems failing. He did not panic. He gave orders calmly, coordinated defenses, and worked alongside civilians and soldiers alike. "Do what must be done," he said to everyone he encountered. "Help each other. Survive. Endure. That is all that matters." The alien woman saw humans sacrificing themselves to save others. They risked death for weak, injured, and unarmed people. They moved with purpose, coordination, and calm determination. She realized for the first time that survival was not about weapons, speed, or strength. Survival was about refusing to break. Survival was about enduring. The enemy fleet, once confident, now panicked. Their attacks faltered, their ships collided, and confusion spread. They could not understand how such a weak species could resist so much. Liam led a small group onto an enemy vessel. Explosions rocked the hull, but they moved calmly. They sabotaged engines, disrupted communications, and caused chaos before returning to their own ships. The alien woman observed silently. She could have destroyed them all instantly, yet she did nothing. She wanted to see the humans endure. She wanted to see the power of persistence, the force of survival. Humans survived when nothing else should have allowed them to. They endured when all hope seemed lost. They fought when defeat was certain. And through it all, Liam led them calmly, inspiring courage without words, moving steadily through destruction and chaos. The enemy fleet retreated finally, unable to overcome human persistence. Small, weak ships had caused panic, confusion, and retreat among forces far superior in strength and speed. The alien woman stood silently, her eyes glowing faintly. She understood now. Humans were dangerous not because they were strong, not because they were clever, not because they were fast or powerful. Humans were dangerous because they endured. Humans survived, humans persevered, humans refused to break. She felt something unfamiliar in her chest. Not fear of death, not anger, not powerlessness, but respect, and perhaps even fear. A species weaker than hers, fragile and small, had survived against impossible odds, and it had survived because it refused to give up. She looked at Liam, standing among his people, calm, steady, and focused. He had survived disasters before. He would survive disasters again. The galaxy feared her. Humans did not fear her, and that was the true danger. Endurance had defeated fear. Persistence had defeated strength. Humanity had survived when all else should have failed. And for the first time, the alien woman realized that she could not destroy their spirit. No fleet, no weapon, no fear. She had come to conquer them. Instead, she had come to witness something far more dangerous, humans enduring when the galaxy had already given up, and she would never forget it. The alien woman stood on the bridge of her ship, silent, watching the human worlds below. The galaxy had expected her to crush them, to destroy their fleets and cities in seconds, but she had not. She had watched. And what she had seen had changed her. Humanity had survived impossible odds. They had endured attacks from superior fleets, sabotage, disasters, and betrayal. They had helped each other, repaired what was broken, and fought when all hope seemed lost. They had endured not for glory, not for conquest, but because it was the only choice they had. She remembered Liam, calm and steady among the chaos. His hands black with soot, his clothes torn, yet his eyes unwavering. He had led them, inspired them, and survived with purpose. She had never seen anything like it. Her fleet moved silently above the human planets. Ships that had once inspired fear now seemed cautious. Her officers whispered among themselves. They should have been destroyed, one said. We should have crushed them. Yes, she said quietly, but we did not. The humans had survived because they refused to break. They endured when all else failed. That was their power. That was their danger. Reports came in from the front lines. Enemy fleets had retreated. Small, poorly equipped human ships had caused panic, confusion, and chaos. Weakness had turned into strength because of persistence, courage, and coordination. She thought about the galaxy. She had ruled fear and destruction. Species trembled at her arrival. Worlds surrendered before she fired a shot, and yet humanity had faced her, and others like her, without faltering. She descended to one of the human planets. The surface was scarred, cities partially destroyed, but alive. Humans were moving calmly, repairing what could be repaired, helping the injured, and preparing for the next challenge. She walked among them for the first time, invisible, unnoticed. She had never approached a species like this before. They should have panicked at her presence. They should have fled or attacked, but they did neither. They continued with purpose, with focus, with calm determination. Liam approached her without hesitation. "You are here," he said simply. His hands were steady, his eyes calm. "Yes," she said. "I wanted to see this up close." "Do you understand now?" he asked. "Yes," she said. "You endure. You survive. You do not break. You continue when all hope is lost. That is why you are dangerous. That is why the galaxy underestimates you." He nodded calmly. "We are not strong. We are not fast. We are not clever. But we endure, and we will continue to endure as long as we can." She studied him. The galaxy feared her. Humans did not fear her. That was the true danger. They feared not death, but what it meant to survive. They feared becoming what she was. Around her, humans continued to repair, rebuild, and survive. Children carried supplies, engineers patched damage, soldiers defended the weak. Every act, no matter how small, contributed to endurance. She realized that her strength, speed, and weapons could destroy them physically, but not spiritually. Endurance, courage, and persistence were stronger than she had imagined. She watched Liam leading a group to repair a damaged communications array. He moved calmly, giving orders, helping where needed, never panicking. His actions inspired those around him. The humans followed because they trusted his calm judgment, not because they feared him. The alien woman understood something critical. Humanity's true power was not in its technology, not in its numbers, not in its weapons. Their power was in their spirit, their endurance, their refusal to break under pressure even when faced with overwhelming odds. Walked among the survivors. Injured humans smiled faintly at each other, helped each other, and moved calmly despite the destruction around them. Even when death and disaster surrounded them, they persisted. "Do you fear us now?" Liam asked quietly. She paused. "Yes," she said softly. "Not because I fear death or pain, not because I cannot destroy you, but because I cannot destroy your spirit. I cannot destroy your endurance. I cannot destroy your courage. That is something no weapon can touch. That is why the galaxy underestimates you at its own peril." He smiled faintly. "We do not fight to conquer. We fight to survive. That is all we know." She watched as humans continued their work building, repairing, and helping each other. They had survived attacks from fleets that should have destroyed them. They had endured disaster after disaster. They had survived when all others would have fallen. She felt something unfamiliar. Respect? Admiration? Perhaps even fear. She had never faced a species that could endure so much and still act with calm purpose. The galaxy feared her. Humans did not fear her. That was the true danger. She looked at Liam. He stood among his people, calm, steady, focused. He had survived disasters before. He would survive disasters again. And he would inspire others to endure alongside him. She realized that no fleet, no weapon, no fear, no threat could destroy what humans carried inside them. Their endurance, courage, and determination were stronger than any force she had ever faced. She had come to conquer. Instead, she had come to witness something far more powerful, humans enduring when the galaxy had already given up. And that endurance would be remembered. She would carry the memory of their spirit with her, and the galaxy would never forget it either. Humans had survived. Humans had endured. Humans had won without a single empire, weapon, or power controlling them. And for the first time, the alien woman understood what made humans truly dangerous. Not their ships, not their weapons, not their speed or strength. Their refusal to break, their courage to continue, their ability to endure. That was humanity's power. And that was why the galaxy would never defeat them. The alien woman turned and left silently, her mind heavy with the truth she could not ignore. Humanity had survived her judgment, survived the galaxy's attacks, and survived the impossible. And in that survival, they had become stronger than she could ever destroy. The galaxy feared her, but humans feared nothing she had yet shown them, and that was the real danger.